She want me to lock it down, but I told her to pass the key. You gotta slow it down, girl, you moving too fast for me. Nobody did it like this, so they wonder, they ask.
Hi guys, it's House Mom Denise again. Thank you once again for tuning into my channel. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And I know it's been a while, but here I am, about to give you guys another video. Anyway, today's video is going to be about House Mom Ranting. It's something that I do often. I know I come off a little different, and it seems like there's no issues here in the club, but trust me, there's all sorts of things that happen in the club with the dancers, and sometimes I could be extremely ecstatic about everything, and sometimes I'm very mad and angry about everything. Not in a bad way. I just try to motivate everyone to make as much money as possible as they can, so that they can do what they need to do when they get out of here. This particular dancer, which I'm sure whoever works industry have seen or does have 1, 2, or even 3 dancers that are constantly complaining that they never make any money. No matter what shifts they work, no matter what days they work, no matter what they do, they constantly go around complaining that they don't make any money. This particular dancer will do 3, 4 nights a week, sometimes even 5, and still on a daily will say that it sucks, that there is absolutely no money here in the club. And that I don't understand, because if you're working so many days a week, and I know exactly how many dances you sell, and I can see more or less through the night what you have made, it doesn't make any sense to me when you say that you're not making any money. Because at first, this dancer, or this young lady, when she made her first $500, she was completely ecstatic, extremely happy. She didn't know what to do. She was extremely grateful. And then as time went on, and the more she worked, and the more, she made money, she started doing the comparison. Every dancer knows that they make comparison to the night before or last week. Did they have a good night before or not? And those comparisons kind of in some sort of way can mess you up, because what happens is that those $500 that you once were grateful for, you are no longer grateful for. So even if she makes $1,000, she still goes around the dressing room saying that it's a bad night, that everybody sucks, that, she doesn't know why she comes in, that she should just go home. And it's just the same old story constantly. Sometimes these type of dancers stay working in the strip club for a lot of years, and through the years you'll hear the same thing. I'll ask her, hey, how was your night? She'll say the same thing. It's not that good. There's nothing going on out there. She'll say the same thing all the time. So I find that really, really odd, because if she were to have like a normal paying job, I would say 7 to 4, 8 to 4, 9 to 5, 10 to 6, or whatever, and she was being paid hourly, she would really, really even be more grateful for what she's making in the industry. But for this particular young lady, this dancer, that is not the damn case. And I had to tell her one time, I had to have a conversation, and I asked her, hey, what do you make a week? Because you seem to come every time that you come to work and say that you're not making any money at all, and you go around basically poisoning the other girls, saying, oh, there's no money here, you're gonna go home, and it kind of gets everyone in a little bit of a type of funk. And that's when I have to come in, because I know that on the floor there is always money. If you're here working, and if you're trying, and if you're pushing, and if you are constantly going up to every customer and having conversation with them, that you will eventually get a dance or 2, and then it'll kind of like elevate from there as the night gets darker. And of course, we're open till very, very late. And she said, she doesn't average that much. And I was like, really? Like, what do you call not that much? She said, well, 2 weeks ago I made $2,500 in a week, and I had so many bills to pay, and so I'm broke already. And then she would come back the following week and said, the following week I did $1,800, but you know what? It was a slow week. And I don't know if anyone out there agrees with me, but $1,800, $2,500, $3,000 a week is definitely not a slow week. It is a very good week. If you were to compare to what everybody else is making, which most of the girls do, then maybe you might be mad that you're not making as much as everyone. Maybe you should work more. Maybe you should work on your technique. Maybe you should work on your sales skills, your gift of gab. You know, who knows? I'm not out there with you, so I don't know exactly what you're doing. But if she's telling me that she's making a certain amount of money, I can only assume that you can honestly live a very decent life if you're making $1,800 a week, if you're making $2,000 a week. I don't know. So I had to rant about that because that happens a lot. And as a house mom, I kind of get sick of hearing it because I know there's money in the club. Either you're lazy and not getting it the right way, or you're just bluffing and you just have that mental disease in your head saying, you know, I lack this, I don't have that, I need this, I don't have any money, blah, blah, blah. Or I don't know what you do with your money outside of here, but I know you make money. And just like a perfect example, even if you made the minimum of $500 a week, let's just say you made the minimum, $500 a week. There's 53 weeks, is it 52 and a half weeks in a year or 53 weeks in a year? If you made $500, that's like $26,500 a year. That's like a part-time job. If you did $1,000 a week, and doesn't matter how you do it, there's 7 days a week, pick the shifts. Let's just say you make $1,000 a week. You times that, 53 weeks, that's $53,000 a year. If you made $1,200 a week, for a whole year, that's $66,000 a year, a little bit plus. $1,500 a week, that's almost $80,000 a year. If you made $2,000 a week, that's like over $100,000 a year. If you made $2,500 a week, that's $132,000 plus a year. If you make $3,000 a week, which she said she made in 1 week, and if you did that consecutively for 53 weeks and you made that commitment to come to work and do it as structured and disciplined, $159,000. You're 19 years old, 20 years old, making $160,000. Think about that. Oops, my hand slipped there. $160,000, you don't call that money? That's a lot of money. And sometimes my girls rack it up to $4,000 a week. That's over $200,000 a year. And for the big ballers, or for the big, for the big dogs, all my girls that know how to make crazy ass money, they make about, $4,500 to $5,000 a week. What is that? $250,000 plus per year. And you have the audacity to come into the strip club and say that there is no money. The problem is that you don't know what you do with your own money. If you were committed enough to come here, as if it were to, because strip clubs do not look like, they don't look at strip clubs like regular jobs compared to, to the real day world. They look at strip clubs like it's just not a job, but it's real money. It's really, really real money. You pay bills with the money you make here. If you made a true commitment the entire year, you will come out winning. You will come out winning by a long haul because you'll be able to really pay attention to the money that comes into your pocket and what goes out. And you won't go around saying that you're having a bad night. You will not go around saying that the place sucks, that you're gonna go to another club. Because in reality, she can go to another club, but she's gonna take that same lack mentality behavior with her. So no matter where she goes, it's always gonna be bad. She's not doing good, and that's just the way it is. That's one of the dancers or someone like that I really, really can't really help much. Usually if I see them constantly talking about they're not making money or they don't find $1,000, good money, I usually lose my shit a little bit. And I'll say, what are you talking about? $1,000 is not good. There's, people out there that are not even making $1,000 in a month or in 2 weeks, and you made it in 4 hours. It's just that spoiled mentality. So I get it. Yes, it's a lot of work. My dancers put up with a lot of shit. They have to talk to the customers. Who knows what? We just say a lot of stories. a lot of shit, and try to get them to give you money, to tip you on stage, to do some dances, to maybe push a champagne room. It just goes on and on and on. The potential is there. If you're in a gentleman's club or a strip club, doesn't matter, because to me it's all the same thing. Shaking ass, so it's all dancing, and you're making this type of money. It's just hold a little bit of gratitude in there, because once you're out of this business, unless you're a doctor or some entrepreneur or something else that pays that much money, you're gonna really miss the money that you did make at the club. So I had to rant about that because that happens a lot. And usually that girl will go around, usually the girls that already know that that's the type of girl that always talks about not having or doesn't make it, or it's a bad night or crying or whatever, and it's always the same story. My girls have learned, some of the girls have learned to stay away from that. But what happens is that if I get new girls, that particular dancer will kind of tag on to try to team up and work on the floor with the new girl. But if I get a chance, I usually pull the new girl to the side and say, you need to work the floor on your own, because she complains that she doesn't make any money, and I don't want you to fall into that same category where you're constantly complaining just like her, because it's not going to be good and you're not going to like it. You're going to hate your job and you're going to wish that you never ever did it. Of the girl that barely works. She barely works. So she'll come in. At first, when she first starts, she's on a roll. She's working every day. She's putting money to the side. She's doing what she needs to do. And then out of the blue, I don't know, maybe a month or two later, she starts, the lazy syndrome, where she comes in extremely late, or she comes in minutes before the last check-in time. And then she expects or wants, or her goal is to make this insane amount of money. Let's say $2,500 in one night. And that night happens to be the night that she doesn't make it. That drives me crazy, because what happens is that she'll come back here constantly, throwing heels, being mad. She's mad at the world because now she's not making the money that she thought she was going to make. Well, maybe if her ass got here a little earlier and worked a couple more days, she would be able to reach her goal. But instead, what happens is that maybe 2 weeks ago, she came in one night and someone made it rain a lot on her, and she probably walked out with $3,000. So she thought that is what's going to happen every time she comes in, even if she comes in once a week or once every 2 weeks. But that's not always the case, because to me, strip clubs are like casinos. Okay, you win sometimes and sometimes you don't. Okay, and that is just the way it is. But I had to tell her, I said, well, maybe if you worked a little bit more and you dedicated some more time, you would reach your goal. Because when she comes in, and when she does come in, which is once a week or once every other week or whatever, she drives the whole damn world crazy that she's not making the money that she's supposed to make. She drives me crazy because now she's in a bad mood. She's missing stage. I constantly have to look for her. I'm telling her so-and-so is looking for her for a customer. She doesn't want to go on the floor. She's already fed up with the night. Mind you, she's only been here 1 hour, okay? Because she clocked in at, almost midnight. So what do you expect? That you're always going to come in and make that money? That you're going to walk onto the floor and feel like you're some grandiosa? Yeah, we are grandiosas, but you still have to work for it. You still have to make a commitment to yourself. You still have to show up to work. You still have to go on the floor. You still have to the men, you still have to put up with all their damn bullshit. But if you do it once every 2 weeks and expect to make the same money, that's not going to happen. So I had to tell her that if she got her ass here a little early, that she would be just fine. But she didn't like what, she heard. And then we spoke a couple days after that, and she said that she was going to try to make a commitment. And I'm not going to force you. You don't want to come work? That's fine. Don't come work. If you feel like you need to work someplace else, I'm okay with that as well. But you can't come in here expecting to make the same money you made one night 2 weeks ago, because every dancer knows, and this has been forever, back in the day and today, that you're not always going to have the same night. You're not always going to have an amazing night. Today or tomorrow or or last week or whenever, you may have an amazing night, and then you're going to have that one night where every man rejects you, and it hurts your heart. hurts your heart because you go home thinking like, what the hell did I do? I couldn't sell. I didn't make the money I wanted to make. And if anything, what that does, if you go home and think about it, it makes you stronger in your mind, because when you come back the next time, you come back with a whole new game in your head on how you're going to try to make the money that you need to make. Okay, so that was my rant. And not always everything is smooth and easy. I know that girls who have worked with me and, you know, have seen me, it looks a little easy, but I do have to deal with a lot of that stress, especially when it comes to money. And a dancer is trying to make something that at that moment is pretty much impossible for her to make, because she's just not the cup of tea for the night. So there's nothing I can do about it. All I can tell her is go home, brush it off, and you can come back and try to make money tomorrow. But their response is usually the same. I didn't want to work tomorrow. I just wanted to work today because tomorrow I'm going to go out. Well, then you can't complain or blame anyone for not making any money, because in reality, it's truly up to you. It's not up to anyone else but to you. The club's job is to bring the customers into the club, and it's your job to sell dances, to, you know, mingle with them, get tips, do stage, you know, make them feel somewhat special, because that's the reason why men come to gentlemen's clubs. So, yeah, that's it, guys. That is my rant, and I hope that you will see me again, because hopefully I'm going to try to do another video in the next 2 weeks, because I'm trying to catch up and trying to get through this and, you know, tell you guys some more stories. But my ass has to go home, because tomorrow I have a party and I have to get everything ready, and I'm just closing up now. So guys, thank you so much for listening to me. And I know I didn't sound like wildly crazy with the rants, but in the back it can get a little hectic, especially when I know that they have potential to make money, and they might as well do it while they're young and beautiful and doing it here or wherever they do it, whatever strip club, while you can, because everyone knows that the day will come where the story is not the same. So make lots of money, girls. Bye. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye, guys.